me.
Hello, hi everybody. Welcome at home. All you guys at home, welcome. We got a full house tonight. So, yay. A couple announcements before I hand it over. There's a lot coming up in July. So, heads up, if you are not on our text reminder list, you want to be. If it doesn't mean that you text with me, it means like we have this list that you get a text every Monday as a reminder to what's going on that week. So if you didn't get a text yesterday saying it's Solution Group Week, you're not on that list. And so the way that you get on that list is on our website, battlefieldaddiction.com. If you just scroll down to the bottom, it's either the right or the left. On one side, it's like subscribe to our email newsletter, which we send out a few a year. And then on the other side, it's subscribe to our text reminder list. And if you put your phone number in there, then you get a little verification code or something, and you confirm that you want to be on that list. That's something that you actually have to sign yourself up for. It prevents us from, any business from spamming you, so you actually have to go do that. If you need help and assistance with that, let us know, and we can help you if we're on at the same time, and I can help you and do it, and you get the code and all that. But it's pretty easy to do that. So make sure you're on that list, and you'll get a reminder, because there's lots of stuff going on in July. I'll run through it just really quickly, but this will all be in a text as well. So our solution groups, this is the solution group tonight. It's the first and the third Tuesday of the month, right? On those off weeks, we're doing extra different things. So on that first off week is coming up group coaching. Now, group coaching is something that we're restarting up, which we're super excited about now that we're back in Washington. Group coaching, we limit the number of people that come. That's for family members only. And it's a really fun night. We limit to about 12 to 15 to 16 people. It's a small group. It's interaction with everybody. It's pretty darn cool. So we definitely want you part of that. You do need to register. There's no cost to registration, but you register because you get your free spot and your ticket, because we always sell out or whatever, even though it's free, I say that. But we only have a limited number of seats. So you want to get registered for that. And the way you can do that is battlefieldaddiction.com. Go to events and go to group coaching and get signed up for that. And that's coming up on Tuesday, July 9th. And then our next in the hot seat, and this is all over Facebook as well for you to refer to, but our next in the hot seat is coming up, Mark Mullet. Help me with this. He's a Washington State Senator currently.
Yeah, 12 years Washington State Senate. Now he's running for governor.
Yes. So he will be here. And now that week, it's actually a Thursday. And so that's in the hot seat. We had our first one at the end of May with Raul Garcia. This place was slammed. We were all the way out. We had like 86 people here. It was pretty cool. So we hope you all can come back and join us in this continual conversation regarding fentanyl. We have questions to ask, and we need all of you guys here to help represent. Everybody from every side, whether you're a loved one, you're in recovery, you're still in the fight, whether you've lost, somebody out there's lost a loved one, we need everybody represented. So tell your friends, spread the word. That's coming up on July 11th. And so that's pretty much it for me, I believe. Oh, Moms Group. Tomorrow, Moms Group. That's every Wednesday that we have a solution group, we have Moms Group the following morning. It's 11 a.m. All the ladies, moms, aunts, grandmas, girlfriends, whatever. All you ladies are invited. This is a 1-hour coffee date that we have via Zoom. And we just get an hour together. We talk about the topic from the night before, and we get to know each other more. It's pretty cool. So join us tomorrow. And yeah, that's it. So now, back by popular demand. It's been a while. We've taken a little break, Mr. Kyle Munkers, but he is back tonight to bring us Kyle's Corny Common
Yeah, I took a break.
Oh yeah, let me spotlight you. Sorry, give me a minute here. Add spotlight, and then yeah, okay.
Okay. All right.
Sexy man.
Yeah, thank you.
Monks is back.
What do clouds wear under their clothes? Thunderwear. gets better. What do you call a medieval spy? Surveillance. Huh? You know, before they invented the crowbar, crows would just have to drink at home. And then come to rebuild. The other day was Father's Day, and my mom had called me to make sure I'd call my dad and talk to him. And she goes, and then she started complaining about how on Mother's Day I didn't buy her flowers, which is messed up. I didn't even know she sold flowers. A couple weeks ago, I woke up in a cold sweat, thinking I was late for work, but thankfully I was at work. It was a relief. Speaking of work, I'm thinking about maybe working for Art just for a little bit, until I go back to my other job. And Art said, "Why do you want to do that?" And it's like, well, I'm really passionate about affording food.
About what?
40 food.
About affording food.
Oh, okay.
Being able to work to buy food. Yeah.
Did you make that one up on your own?
No, there's only one of these I made up. Speaking of Father's Day, I have a very incredibly rare talent of being able to know what's inside of a present before I open it. It's a gift. Do you guys know when a joke becomes a dad joke? When it becomes a parent. After the delivery. Yeah. You know why a dad joke becomes a dad joke? Because he sleeps with your mom. All right, last one. It's one of my favorites. There's this rumor going around, and it's been a while, since we've had this. But there's a rumor going around that we finally have a one and only gay guy in the house. I hope it's Bailey. He has a great butt.
Just gotta pull something up real quick. I got pulled over on the way here. I hit 167 coming off 18. Decided I want to open it up. Engine in the car. I open up to about 115. Roll across 4 lanes of traffic. Hit the carpool lane. Hit about 130. And then the cop about an hour later catches up to us. And he's behind me. So I said, I told Angie I'm about to get pulled over. And I get pulled over, and she's having me, she kind of sparked it. She said, "You need to come up with a story."
I said, tell him that was dumb.
Oh yeah, she told me to tell him that was dumb.
That was dumb.
Yeah, that wasn't a good one.
Yes, it was.
That was stupid of me. No.
Just admit it.
No, so right when he got to the window, I said, "Listen, man, just now picked up my car from Fugate Ford. It's been getting worked on. Got out of the shop about an hour ago. Needed to open it up to see if everything's working right."
To get a warning.
Yeah, he went back. He came back and he goes, "So it's all working good?" I went, yeah, it is.
Give me another 10
Yeah, so it worked. Well, the thing about it is I just got a ticket about 2 weeks ago in Enumclaw, and then I went and they go, "Well, if you don't get a ticket for a year, we'll throw this one out." And of course I took the deal. I made it 2 weeks. But
True, if you get 3 now, in a year.
so he came to Angie's side, and then he was back there, and I'm thinking he's gonna start writing in a second. So I'm pushing her. I'm saying, "Go talk to him." I'm trying to get her to get out of the car and go talk to this guy because I knew She goes, "No." Anyways, I think if she wasn't in the car, there's no way a cop lets me off. You know what I mean? It just had to be that my wife was in the car. I don't look like, you know, I guess it looks a little better having a wife. I don't know. But who knows if she's my wife? She could have been my mistress, you know? So who knows? You know? You don't want to get pulled over like that. When I got, I don't know, it was different for me. I think when I got sober, there was a lot of, I figured that there was, for me it was a bottom was a place. I don't know about all you other addicts, but for me, bottom was a place. It was a place that I arrived at that I emphatically knew it was over. I knew that I had arrived at that mythical place called bottom. And I was like, I remember my whole drug career went from about 18 to 37, and I was pretty active. And, you know, I stayed high for 18 years or 19 years. So I knew that there was this looming place that folks talked about called bottom. And I knew I didn't want to hit that place. You know, I kept on hearing, like, drug addicts are going to hit bottom. And I was like, man, I don't want to hit that, you know. And then eventually I arrived at this place called bottom, and I knew that, okay, and what dawned on me was, what I heard was that this thing was progressive, which meant to me was, these are the current consequences that I'm facing. This is what I don't like, and that it only gets worse from here. And I believed that. I believed that if I used again, it got worse. And that belief system, like, prompted something in me where I went, okay, I gotta just go up from here, and I can't use again because bottom will get worse than it's already been, and it was already alone in the Winco parking lot, 19 degrees on January 10th or 11th or 12th or whatever day it was, with a empty crack pipe and an empty needle and a cell phone with no minutes and a car with no gas and no one to call if I did have someone to call. If I did have minutes, there was just no one that really wanted to deal with me on this planet. And just so you guys know, in 2011, you couldn't just open your door and find a drug dealer for $1 and get some drugs. That's not how it was. It was lonely out there. It was scary out there. It was you and prostitutes and pimps and dealers, and that was about all of you out there. There wasn't a safe little camp that you could go to and get by a fire and get some drugs or anything. So it was emphatic. And then as you get through the detox and as I got sober, it started dawning on me that something had happened to me in my life. That something had happened to me. I wanted introspective thoughts about that. I got very thoughtful about what had happened to me as a human being that drove my life from here to here. So I wanted to get educated. I wanted to understand exactly what I went through. What the hell had happened to me that ended up this way? That a human life could go so far off track. That and I got it pretty clear from the start that I had this kind of defective guidance system. I knew it was kind of true. I knew that my guidance system seemed to guide me in the direction of pleasure and guide me away from pain on a regular basis, and you know, I always chose pleasure over pain, and that always got me in predicaments, and it didn't really do me very good with the areas of responsibility and management and any of that stuff. So there I was, sober, and I decided, well, let me kind of dig in. As I dug in, what I had to watch in the beginning was I had to watch my motivation. Almost everything that I was doing, underlying, there was a false motivation. I was a very manipulative person. So if I was mowing my mom's lawn, I wasn't really mowing my mom's lawn. I was kind of setting her up for what she would have to do for me after. That's the kind of person I was. I was a manipulator. I was a scorecard type person. I remembered the score with people. So meaning, I'm never going to do more for you than you need to do for me. And if I'm doing more for you, you owe me something. And I'll remember with my tab up here what you owe me. That's the kind of guy I was. So I was very falsely motivated most of the time, and very manipulative, and I was about my own survival and all that. And so that went along for me. Basically, the question was, what type of human being am I being? Is the question. Like, what type of being am I as a human being? How am I being as a human being? And that was a very, time where that's the question that was on my mind all the time. What type of being am I being? You can, and then the question kind of moved on to what type of being is a human being? And if you kind of take a dog and you take a human, you can kind of look at what type of being a dog is compared to what type of being a human is. You see, like a dog wants love, and a dog wants food, and a dog wants to play ball, and a dog wants to be petted. And we know this, and they're very upfront with us about what they want. There's not an underlying manipulation here. Like, a dog isn't out getting the paper so that later you'll throw a ball with him. That's not the kind of manipulation that a dog is. See, a dog, when he wants the ball, he'll bring you the ball and say, hey, I want to play ball. And when a dog wants you to pet him, he'll grab your hand and he'll put it on your head. And when a dog wants food, he'll go, Mike Barkley, he goes and picks up the bowl, walks it in front of you, and he throws it down in front of you. Like, And when Wolfie used to want to be petted, she grabbed her paw and she put it up on your lap and she said, pet me. Very, very like that. And when Barkley wants to cuddle, he gets up on the bed with me, and there's no underlying manipulation, so I didn't have to look into the motivation of Barkley. As I began to look at this way, the question was kind of what kind of being am I as a human being, but what kind of human is a human, what kind of being is a human being, and then how do these humans relate compared to how do a dog relate? How does a baby relate? And one thing that I'm kind of learned over time is that we think as human beings that we are good at love. We think that we are the type of beings that love. And I argue that we're not. I argue that most of the time, that's not the type of being that a human being is. Most of the time, what type of being a human being is the kind of being that protects. So most of the time, I would say, when we relate to people, our goal isn't to love people. Our goal is to actually end the relationship. Now that might be something you don't want to hear. So how do we end the relationship? And so learning how people relate and learning what type of, we're the type of beings that like to be right. A human being is the type of being that likes to be right. And being right seems to, people would rather be right than love. People would rather be right than be successful. People would rather be right than have a good boss. People would rather be right that I'm a bad person than have me be a good person. People would rather be right than love. And I'm asking you to consider this. What ends up happening at bottom is this thing called humility. Now, I don't know if we really know what humility is for most people, but for me, what it was, see, if a navigational system in a car, a GPS system in a car, has no humility, meaning you can't tell that car, you can't tell that GPS system that it's wrong. It wouldn't believe you. And see, even if that GPS system would put you in a dead end and have you broke down at a dead end, the GPS system would not believe it's wrong. And I think that's the kind of GPS system we kind of have as human beings, meaning we don't believe that there's a chance that this voice in our head is wrong. We don't generally believe that. We believe that it's right. And so what that means to me is that humility means there's a chance, like we were talking this morning, there's a chance that because you like chocolate ice cream and I like vanilla ice cream, there's a chance that my opinion might be wrong. You see, I don't generally like people that like chocolate ice cream. There's something wrong with you. And if you like chocolate ice cream, there's definitely something wrong with you. You see, because I like vanilla, and vanilla's better. Now think about that. I think that's true. I think people who like chocolate ice cream are weird. I see a guy get a bowl of chocolate ice cream, I go, what a weirdo. Okay, because vanilla's better. But see, humility says, wait, maybe there's something I don't know here. Maybe that my opinions, my preferences, my beliefs, my system of navigation and what it prefers and how I navigate the world, there's just an opening that maybe it's wrong. Just maybe. On the other hand of humility, on the other side of humility is righteousness. Okay? So we're right or we're humble. So we're right or we're loving. We can't be both. You cannot be right and humble. You cannot be right and in love. See? You can be wrong and humble. You can be mistaken and humbled. You can be kind of like, man, I didn't know that, and humbled. You can be humbled by what you don't know. You see? You can love what you're not right about. And what I see, the way that human beings relate, is that there is a way that they want the relationship to be over and final. I will also say it's the way that people don't love themselves. Okay? So people are busy being right about themselves in their own wrongness, and people are busy being right about others in their wrongness. And so what we do in our relationships is we meet someone, and when we meet them, they're pretty right. We dig them. We say, hey man, I dig this person. They kind of fit me. They like what I like. He likes vanilla. I like vanilla. This is my dude. And then what this thing does in our head, and it's called a self. We have a self. And what the self then begins to do is it begins to find out why this other person we're in a relationship is wrong. Now, the reason it does that is because we don't always feel good in here. And when we don't feel good in here, we blame the other person for how we feel. And then we find out how they shouldn't behave. Because you behaving that way doesn't make me feel good, so you're wrong. And we do that over a period of time with everyone. And the goal is, of the self, is to have you only be around people that make you feel good all the time. And as you're around people that hit your insecurities, that hit your fears, that are difficult, that dominate, that are powerful, dominate power and power meeting each other, fear and fear meeting each other, insecurities and coming together. As we do this, no one wants to own, and it is very tough to own, your own insecurities. So rather, now, I want to figure out how to protect myself from these feelings that this person gives me when I'm around them. And so the way I'll do that is I will start a tab of all the ways that they're wrong. And if I get enough, I can quit this relationship. I can get away from this person. I can stop going to lunch with them. I can stop seeing them. I can stop having my brother at the family thing. I can stop having our uncle at the family thing. I can actually get to the point where I can end it. See, we get right and that's final. So-and-so is. So now what comes after that is your reason for quitting. It's your reason for not loving that person. It's your reason for not giving them everything you got. See, in our relationships, we don't give everything we got. In our relationships, we protect ourselves. And we say, that's not right, and that's not right, and that's not right. He don't do that right. But one day, he's going to do everything right, and then I'm going to love him. And that's how we relate. And see, this is how we relate to ourselves. We have a thing called a presupposition. Just so you guys know what that means, to presuppose. It means that I'm taking for granted something that might not be true, but I'm calling it true. Presupposing means, I am saying that so-and-so is. Now, when I say so-and-so is this, that's my truth that I'm now relating to this person from. As soon as I can get that kind of truth, that they're that, my relationship now is dictated through that. See? So we also have people that have let's say someone has a presupposing about themselves, because we're also, not only are we relating to others, we're relating to ourselves. And we've recently had, recently delving into this real untruth that people can have, these stories about themselves that when they come out, that's what this person thinks about themselves, and nobody else in the world believes it's true but the person. It's just presupposing that someone lives some, I hear people say I'm socially awkward, something like that. I don't fit in. Like, where do these stories come from? And if somebody comes up with this thing about themselves, I'm socially awkward, then how do they behave? And what would dictate, I have anxiety, I have all these things. So we're watching people run from themselves because of the story they tell about themselves. And I'm watching people run from relationships because of the story they tell about others. And I don't think we're very good. And I think until we acknowledge as human beings, if you watch right now the Democrats and the Republicans, who are our relationship kind of teachers at this point, which is very sad, but they want each other to fail so that they can be right. They want each other to behave poorly so that they can be right, that the other person behaves poorly. They are waiting and expecting each other to fail so that they can be filled with rightness and righteousness. Righteousness is the enemy of relationship. It's it. It's the closer. It's the over. Righteousness. So I want you to look at your own. Just look at the times that you've been like this in your relationships. Look at the times that you're telling a story about somebody else and how this MFer or this person did this or this person did this, and you're going to just look at yourself in that state. I don't have an uglier state as me in the experience of being me. I do not have an uglier state than righteous. It does not exist. You will not find an uglier form of me than righteous. When I'm right and they're wrong, and I got to tell the world about their wrongness, and I need to point out their wrongness, that's the ugliest I can get. And what it means is that I'm dominated by this person, that it's hard to relate to them, that I don't want to give everything, that I want to quit, and I want to blame them. And that's what it means when I get like that. And I get like that. I get like that with powerful people that are dominating me. I get like that with difficult people that are dominating me. I get like that a lot. But righteousness is the expression of rightness. It's how we express how right we believe we are, how stupid we believe other people are. And this seems to be this righteousness, this pointing out wrongness, this analyzing, this critiquing, this judging, this kind of list we have of every person that we know and relate with about the 10 changes they should make to make our relationship better. Used to say, like, couples counseling, I want you to write down the list of 10 things your husband or wife could change to make the relationship better. And of course, each person would get out a pen and write their 10 things down, and then they go, okay. The problem with that theory is that once those 10 go away, there'll be 10 more. There just will be 10 more. That no one can get right enough in your eyes to get rid of your own insecurities. And the only way out of this is this like real true, first for me it had to start with, I don't want to be in relationships with people. And that was a big problem for me. Because I was supposed to be this person that helped people. I was supposed to be this person that had all these people that I was trying to take from some place in their life to some place up here. But do you know along the way when you're taking a difficult person and trying to engage with that difficult person from a place in their life that they're here to a place here, do you know how difficult that person is? And do you know how many times along the way you want to quit? And do you know how many times along the way that you want to get right about them and say they're that so you can be done? So you don't have to keep making an effort? And do you know how many people would agree with you along the way? when there's a difficult person in this program? Do you know how many people get satisfied if I finally say they gotta go? There's an utter satisfaction. Around the house, it's like, oh, good. They're gone. Thank God. Because they were wrong. And there it is. Well, they were wrong, or were they making you insecure? Which one was it? See, were you annoyed or were you superior? Try to be annoyed without being a superior, righteous asshole. Try. See, you're not annoyed, you're superior. You're better than them. You're not angry, you're superior. You're not right, you're better. You see? So as I explored and began to learn about the way that human beings relate, I learned that they didn't relate like a baby and a dog relate. I love my TikTok at the end of the night. I go to bed, and at the end of the night, she plays her little game, and I get out and I get my TikTok at the end of the night, and I search babies and dogs. And and I like when the dog is in love with the baby. I like when, it's my favorite thing, because the baby goes to the dog, and I like when the dogs hug the dog, and the dog takes care of the other dog, and I like watching love. But you would be hard pressed to find humans behaving that way. You see, that baby will learn to begin to protect themselves. That baby will learn that her arms can't be like this or she's going to get hurt in this world. So the baby will learn to close her arms and to start being right about people. You're this, you're that, stay away from me, change, be better if you want to be in a relationship with me. The baby will learn. See, the baby hasn't learned yet, so it's still got his stupid little arms open. You see? But we learn soon to protect our feelings. We learn not to open up to people. We learn not to love. We learn not to love. We learn not to be the baby in the room that walks in and just opens his arms and hugs everyone. You can't do that. People are screwed up. You can't walk into a room and just be nice to people. They will hurt you. See? So we learn to protect, and the way we protect is by being right. The way we protect is by pointing out wrongness. The way we do it is we say, hey, I loved you when we first met on that Tinder date. That first night was great. But now I'm closing down a little bit. Yeah, we slept together, but that wasn't love. Nobody wears that kind of... What about that protection, huh? Hopefully they protected themselves. But we're okay sleeping together, but I'm not going to give you my heart. And so what I have to do is I have to get to a point where I figure out why you're wrong enough so that I can quit this relationship. And a presupposing is when we put a story about somebody that we believe, and then we look for evidence of that story. We then find it. My mother is very controlling. There's a presupposition. The assumption is that that's true. And if that's true, then how are you going to behave as a son? Well, you're going to always be trying to evade control. And every time your mom even makes a suggestion about you, you're going to say, see, there's your controlling, nagging ass again, trying to get me. But what about if we watch this, if you haven't seen it, last night, we watched this we watched this cool documentary last night because Angie and I are 80s babies. We grew up in our prime of your life is the mid-80s. I can still remember the best times of my life were the mid-80s. And in the mid-80s, you had these great movies, all-time great movies. Pretty in Pink, Breakfast Club, and St. Elmo's Fire. And if you guys haven't seen these movies, watch them all in one day. I mean, phenomenal movies. And what happened in this story was, and I didn't know this went down back then, I didn't really know about any of this stuff, but Emilio Estevez and Judd Nelson and Rob Lowe were around a journalist for 3 days. And at the end of the time where he spent this time with the journalist wrote an article, and at the title, he called him the Brat Pack, a playoff, the old Rat Pack, but these are the Brat Pack, a young group of kids that are brats, that are spoiled little Hollywood kids that are getting everything and taking advantage of the world or whatever the guy did, and there was like 5 or 6 of them. There was Ali Sheedy and Rob Lowe and Andrew McCarthy and there was all these people and Demi Moore and you watched the different story that they all created from it. And the 2 most successful people to come out of that were Demi Moore and Rob Lowe. And the other ones kind of all struggled with anger, and they hated this reporter that wrote the article, and they said he ruined their life, and that they couldn't get any other roles because now they were labeled this kind of young actor or whatever. And then you flip to these amazing happy people called Rob Lowe and Demi Moore, and you hear their side of it. They were like, no, it was great. Like, no, all publicity back then was good publicity. Who cared what he said? And the way that their lives played out because of their presupposing, because of their story that they made up, compared to the story that somebody made up over here. See, neither story was real. It was just a story that we made. And they looked for evidence to why their careers weren't taking off. They looked for evidence why that guy ruined their career, where these people looked for evidence of why it was good. And you just saw it. You saw the happiness of these people, the beauty of Rob Lowe and Demi Moore. They made you cry when they talked. There were these awesome, travel light people that just got over it. And then the other actors were heavy and dark and angry and vindictive. And it was like, whoa, what a difference. And so this is kind of what we're doing in our relationships. This is what we're doing, See, remember when I said criticizing and analyzing and judging? When's loving come into play? Now, I want to point out that when we say I love somebody, I'm not talking about the overall arching, my mom has cancer and I went and took care of her there's proof I love her. I'm not talking about that kind of love. I'm not talking about, my kid's in treatment and I show up, they're there, I love him. I'm talking about the experience of loving. Like no analyzing, no critiquing, no judging, no nothing, just a simple whoa. And I always say that the experience of love kind of just looks like this. It's kind of like a pause, and we don't get it very often, but it's kind of a pause where we go, oh, whoa. And you can kind of catch somebody loving you every now and then. If you've ever had that experience of somebody looking at you with love, and you're like, whoa, they love me. I can see that she loves me. Like, that's love. Now, I don't think that as human beings, if you can watch today, did you see anyone love today? And if you saw one example of any human loving today, I would challenge you. I'd probably give you money if you saw it. And really, to find the experience of love, I have to look on TikTok for like a Simon... for like a, what's that one where they get up on the Voice or the American Idol? That's my way of finding love, because it makes me cry, because there's something so beautiful that I see that's pure, and then I cry. So, but I can't really, I had to get to a point where I started understanding as a human that it wasn't on me, it wasn't on anyone else to like do this for me. That if I was going to experience love with people, then I'm going to have to get rid of the rightness. See, when I love people, they're all right. Everything about them is right when I love them. When I love anything, it's all right. So think about that. But when I hate things, they're wrong. So really, be honest for a second about whether you're loving your family or hating them. Are they right, 100% right? Or are you focused on their wrongness? Or are you looking at them and going, no, whoa, they're perfect? Or is it right in your head, don't love them yet, they haven't got perfect yet. There's some improvements to make, and then once they make those improvements, then you can love them all the way. But wait. And so, for me, it was like I have to relate to all these people, but I had to be really honest. I have a nasty thing in my head of protection. This thing wants to protect me all the time. This thing wants to judge you and say, stay away, and you're trying to hurt me. And listen, we are spending our time trying to prove that other people are bad. You can turn on any TV or any outlet or anything, and you will see someone trying to prove the badness of someone else. We are trying to prove it. And there is satisfaction in proving it, and people are going after it all the time. You can see almost every successful person that there is on TV or anywhere and watch the world try to rip them down. We can't have that many bad people. But we will try to rip them down. Tom Hanks is a pedophile. Really? Do we have any evidence of that? No, but I don't like him and I'm going to rip him down. Well, do you know anything about? Well, it's in my conspiracy theory TikTok views. Really? I thought he looked like nice. Nope. What do you know? Ben Affleck, P. Diddy, anyone. Just rip them down. I've been telling you, I've been trying to be a good person for 13 years, ever since I got sober, because I was a really shitty guy, and I acknowledge I was a really shitty guy. And for 13 years, people have been trying to tell me I'm still a shitty guy. So, here we go again, another guy in a different form telling me I'm shitty. That's just what it is. Try to make a difference in doing anything on this planet and have people not tell you you're a shitty person. They will. Because that's the nature of the human being. And until you acknowledge it, until you acknowledge your own nature, the own protective nature that we are sitting here looking at, trying to find wrongness so people don't hit our insecurities. That we're trying to be careful to get hurt like we did when we were a little kid, when we were stupid, when we put our arms open and somebody teased us. So now we got to watch out, because it could happen again. I raised my hand when I was a kid, one of the most pressurized moment of my life. I was this eager kid. The teacher asked for the answer. I don't even remember what the question was. I went, whew, I know, and I raised my hand, and then I blurted out the answer, and it was wrong. And every kid turned around and started laughing at me. And the heat comes over my body. And I remember thinking, F you all. And now I'm changed. And the way I was changed was now I was going to find out why you're wrong before you call me wrong. I'm going to be right before you tell me I'm wrong. I'm going to tease you. I ain't going to let it happen to me again. So I ain't risking it no more. I ain't that young. And that day changed my life, and I've even done work about this day. I've even talked about it. That day changed because, see, at that day, I'm no longer that little eager kid with his arms open. I just got hurt. And it hurt bad, and I was embarrassed, so now guess what? People are going to pay. And that's going on with every human being in some form. See? So I think in order for us to get better, there first has to be an acknowledgement that it's happened. We have to get away out of our own bullshit. Stop saying you love everyone. Stop saying how goddamn good you are at loving. Maybe you're no good at it. You tell me right now, if you're good at loving, you tell me the person who gets your love. And you have them come to me and say they're the best. Find it. I doubt it. I bet you're pretty good at finding what's wrong. I bet you're pretty good at critiquing people. I bet you're pretty good at your complaints. I bet you're pretty good at pointing out somebody's wrongness. But I bet you're not very good at keeping your heart open. That's tough, because that's hard work. So I was supposed to love all these people that I'm helping. I didn't. I had to protect myself from them. See how you've had to protect yourself from your one addict? Remember shutting your heart down because you got hurt and getting angry and getting righteous? You remember that? Well, we do it all day, every day around here. And it ain't easy. And every time you've said, forget that kid, I don't want him in my life anymore, I'm done. Well, we've said that 100 times a day. And then what you got to do is you got to put your own righteousness down for a second. You got to open your heart back up. and you got to try to re-engage. You got to try to get out of your story, and you got to try to make them right again. Because if you can make them right, you can love them. And if you keep the wrongness going on in your head, you can't love them. And so for me, my job is to have a little humility, and by that I mean crack the door open just a bit for the chances that maybe the story that I tell myself about other human beings has a possibility of being wrong. Maybe I don't know the deal. Maybe I don't know why they do what they do. Maybe it ain't just to piss me off. Maybe I don't know what they're going through. And I have to open up that little crack of humility to say, this GPS system has wronged me before, and it's probably wronging me right now. And so what I'm going to do, and what happens is somebody behaves very poorly, and then me and Angie get wind of it. Okay? So then what happens is you start feeling a lot of pain of the domination of this person's bad behavior. So then what happens is you get real righteous. Well, I can't believe that they could do that to us after we've done this for them. And how could they say this? And how could they say that about us? And what the fuck? What's wrong with that person? And there we do that. And then we want to, and that is designed because we want to quit the relationship and be done with the person. Then we run into a very, very kind of bad rock and hard spot. Although we want to be done, we vowed to help them. So now you're in a predicament. So now what you have to do is you have to go to that human being and you have to find the humanity there, and you have to let them tell you why their behavior makes sense and why it's right. And then you're relieved of your righteousness, and then at that point you can be free and you can love again, and they can be right, and you can be humbled. You see? And so we're humbled daily by the humanity. And we're misled daily by our protective nature. But when you're able to put down the protective nature and let the humanity of humans humble you, it's this beautiful thing where you have a chance. Survival. In this game of dominating relationships. Loving somebody while they're simultaneously trying to destroy you. Loving somebody where their behavior is actually very detrimental. The work. But I think that for me, it started with an acknowledgement that I wasn't the most loving person. And that I didn't know how to love. And I see people that tell me that they're capable of unconditional love. And then I think to myself, well, it's over for you. You did it. You did it. If you're capable right now of unconditional love, you are Gandhi. You made it. Congratulations. There's no more work for you. You don't need to get any better. You can love humans no matter what they're doing. You experience no anger, no hatred. You don't have to rid yourself of righteousness or any problems. You did it. Congratulations. But what if you wanted to be capable of unconditional love? What if you wanted to work towards that capacity? Well, then you'd have to rid yourself of the righteousness and the anger, the correctness. That would be tough work. It'd be a long path. And so that's all it was. That's all this is. Getting what is in the way of loving each other out of the way. And what is it? Righteousness being the enemy of all relationships. See two people fighting, you will see two righteous people. See two people not in love, you will see one righteous person and one, maybe you'll see one righteous person and one puppy dog. Please forgive me. No. See a person giving the silent treatment? Ooh. Very righteous. Very righteous. You think you're real good. I did a group a long time ago before I even knew about righteousness, and I was just learning about human behavior, and I didn't know about humans being right. But I did a group, and I said that people being right seems like they're like so proud of themselves that it's like sunshine on their face. You see somebody that's right, you are a piece of shit, and I figured it out. You see how proud people are? You see how proud we are of being able to find the problems with people? We're so proud of ourselves for that. We think we're so smart. You can find the problems in people. You can go to the store and say what's wrong. Good for you. You can go to a restaurant and say what's wrong. Good for you. You can say what's wrong with our society while you're home eating a TV dinner. Good for you. But can you make it better? Are you willing to put yourself out there and be judged? Are you willing to stop protecting yourself with your rightness and start really looking at humanity and what's really going on? I can say all I want about the liberals and the conservatives, and I can point out their wrongness, but my question is, can I make it better? Can I actually be a person capable of saying they're not bad and having humanity show up and bring people together? Can I be with a liberal person that has opposite views on how to treat addiction and everything? And can I be with them and not get righteous? There's a test. I don't know yet. Can I be in a group of people with a group of people that disagree with me and not get righteous? There's a test. I don't know yet. I don't know. It's tough. See, we've turned disagreement now in this country into hatred. Yeah. I hate fill in the blank because they don't think the same way I think. And we've got big problems with this. See, not many people are studying the way that human beings behave. They're not looking at the type of being that a human being is, and they're not looking at the type of being that a human being is becoming. And the type of human being that we're becoming is the most righteous type of being that's ever existed. And the reason we're divided is righteousness. I'm right, you're right. I'm right, you're wrong. Stalemate. We're not moving anywhere. I hate you. And this isn't just going on in our communities, this is going on in our families, and this stuff's starting to go on everywhere. It's a trickle-down economy. It is coming into every aspect of our life. And righteousness is just our form of pain relief. Saying that's dominating me, I don't like it, it doesn't make me feel good. I'm going to tell the world how right I am and how wrong they are. And it's brutal. And there is a way out, like an awakening, to say this is kind of what I'm up to. I'm not up to loving anyone and caring for anyone or making anything better. I'm into seeing why it's wrong so that I can get away from it. But what if I have to stay? What if I can't leave? What if I've got to make a difference? Well, then you're going to have to change. Then you're going to have to grow. Then you're going to have to open your heart. And that's what this is about. This is about staying. It's about families getting in a room together and saying, no one can righteously walk out of the room. No one can get so righteous that they can leave and say, you're all wrong, I'm leaving. When you guys are ready to behave better, I'll come back. What a skill, what a manipulative skill that is. So why can't we sit in a room together? Because at some point you're all too wrong for me and I gotta go. No, we're gonna sit and talk until we find each other's humanity. And that's what needs to happen everywhere, right? No, stay. No, don't put it on TV. Just stay and talk. No, you conservative, you liberal, just stay and talk, you guys, please, until you come to a compromise about something, please. No. I'm not going to grow. I'm not going to change. They're wrong. Everyone's pretty much got to take your ball and go home attitude at this point. You know? Leading us to a place where maybe it'll just be a civil war. We'll go back to the North and the South. You know? Back to, families divided. I'm a moderate. My family has developed a left-wing liberal type of thing. So those are fun family reunions. I have to go and listen to my cousin say that Biden is just killing it. Okay. I'm like, killing it? She's like, he's doing so good. I'm like, what? What kind of reality? Okay. Okay.
It's hard to see.
Yeah. What? All right.
Now this is getting fun.
Yeah, and then the heat goes through my body. He's killing it. What is she, fucking lunatic? And I go, all right, calm down, all right. Calm down. It's all right. Just
We
killing
do
it.
not fight against flesh and blood.
Yeah. Oh. Killing it? Yeah. All right. Hey, did he poop his pants today? Did you see him wander off? Yeah, really? And then I'm not on the other side. I mean, Trump's a pig. There's no doubt. There's no doubt. I don't disagree. He's a pig. He's just the medicine to this. That's all. It's like arch enemies. It's like, could you find this one over here, and then they pick the arch enemy, and now the two villains are. We're in a cartoon. We are in a comic book. That's all that's going on. A comic book of righteousness. How human? Remember what I said? They're not trying to love each other. They're not trying to make anything better. They're not trying to do this. They're trying to end it. They're trying to obliterate each other. Here we go. So for me, there is only one enemy. There's only one enemy to love, and there's only one enemy for me to stay, and there's only one enemy for me to make it better, and there's only one enemy for me to fight, and there's only one enemy for our marriage. That's it. It's not anything else other than when one of us would get righteous. If we avoid the righteousness, then there is nothing left but just fixing it. There's nothing left but fixing it. There's nothing left but loving each other. And that's work too. But see, righteousness ends the work. Get right, end the work. For you. And notice, every time you get right, it ends the work. For you. So that's the motivation. So we're here teaching people how to relate, hopefully. And I think that the most important thing that we can do is say why we don't relate. And look at really what's going on. You know, can I look at my family and not just disregard their opinion, but actually find the humanity in it and see what is the good? Why do they think how they think? Can I love them still? Even in a disagreement. Can I look at somebody that likes chocolate ice cream and go, hey, you know, I mean, I have pho. If you eat pho, I don't like you. Sorry, but the shit stinks. Pho smells like B.O. And the guys at the poker room, they order the pho because they're real trendy dudes. And so they order the pho, and then I got to smell B.O. for the next hour. And I got to look over at them like, that is some nasty stuff. You can't like that. I've developed a little kind of a annoyance or maybe a little thing that hatred or righteousness towards people who wear masks still. That pisses me off. So I automatically get pissed off when I see somebody wearing a mask because I want to ask them, I just want to say, are we gross or are you gross? Because in your head, one of us has got to be gross. Either you're like, fuck, I'm gross, or you're like, fuck, they're gross. But one of it's got to be true, right? Who's going to give what to who? You know? So I already don't like him. You know, see a guy wearing a mask in a car. For sure he's a dipshit. You know? But maybe I don't know the whole story, you see? Maybe I got to learn to love that guy. You know?
Maybe they're really sick. Like,
Yeah.
Maybe they have low immunity.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. Maybe they're a dipshit. No. I don't know. It's fun because this is our pastime, though. See, our pastime is pointing out people's flaws. That's what we do. Turn on a movie, you'll get somebody will tell you why it should have been made better. Go out to dinner, they'll tell you why the food should have been prepared better. Go to a meeting, they'll tell you why the meeting wasn't good. You could do tonight as you go home. Please tell each other how full of shit I am. What my problem is. You see? Don't do it now because I don't want to be, Just wait. Don't say it here. It's not the place. Don't disagree with the people that you disagree with.
It's the meeting after the meeting.
Yeah. When you disagree with someone, smile to their face. Then go talk about how stupid they are behind their back. That's how you do it.
You
That's
know
what
the
a good
acronym
person
is for
does.
that?
Huh.
BMW.
Well, that's my car. What does that mean?
Bitching, moaning, and whining.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're BMW. You're driving a BMW.
Let's do a temperature. Are you guys okay? Are you guys cold? Okay, you're good. Okay. Just
All
wanna
right. Little questions, comment time.
So open it up.
There was a lot to realize that I don't want relationships with people to end, and it was a lot overcoming people's finding my wrongness and trying to overcome that. So what about that? When people have found your wrongness and you're trying to overcome that,
We're
God.
still absorbing what you said before we can think about what to say.
Yeah.
It'll come.
Mm-hmm. Just for yourself, explore what type of human a human being is. It's a pretty important question. We're not the type of human like a dog. Look, we behave differently. We are manipulative. We are doing things falsely motivated. If we tell people, we don't tell people, I want you to love me. We don't say that. We wouldn't dare say that. We gotta act cool. We gotta, I want this person to really love me. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm not gonna act too eager. You can't call them back right away. You gotta try to get them to love you. It's 3 days after you meet them and get their phone number before you can call them. A guy can't, this day and age, can't call a woman he met last night and go, hey, I want you to love me. Click. I'd like you to pet me. Click. Right? I'd like you to throw the ball with me. Click. This guy's weird. He's got to say, hey, maybe like in a week from now, do you want to go have some pie? Or whatever the fuck. You want to have coffee? Oh, no. It's going to be coffee because he's real cool. He can't do dinner yet. He doesn't want to give you the whole. So we're about power. We're about manipulation. Humans are about power and manipulative. And power, oh, I like the new Facebook thing. Do you see the message come in and not open it? Oh, you little power hungry snake. I bet you do. Leave it on read. What's that for? Why did you leave it on read? Don't want to act too eager. Don't want to think I'm just sitting there staring at my phone like I am. Can't give them an image like I'm sitting there all day looking at my phone. Yes, you are. He texted me last night, a friend from the they said, are you back in town or are you still in Vegas? Last night I open up all my messages and sometimes I don't respond. I just forget or I don't respond because I don't feel like responding. But I don't leave it on read. And I get mad at people when they leave me on read because I know you've seen it, that I messaged you. So what do you do? So anyways, I opened it, didn't respond. Then this morning I got up early and I said, hey, what's up? And she texted back. She said, oh, I just wanted to get together sometime soon. And I said, oh, okay. And then she told me how she's too busy to get together. And then I texted her my last text, and she hasn't read it yet. I don't know, maybe she has not. My last text said, did you just text me out of the blue to tell me you're too busy to see me? And I think that's just what went on, And I was like, that just happened. Don't even text me, it's okay, But here's what we're doing. See, what type of being are you being? Are you being a power grab? Are you protective? Are you acting too... Oh, what type of person says, I don't care what people think about me? See? You know what type of person says, I don't care what people think about me? A person who really cares about what people think about them. That's the only reason you'd say it. If you truly didn't care what people think about you, you would never say, I don't care what people think about me. It wouldn't even dawn on you to say it because you don't care. You see? But see, you want to look like the guy that doesn't care what people think about you.
Because
So you think that's cool. I don't care. People's opinions of me is none of my business. Really? Really? Why do you get dressed? Why? Why don't you fart in public? Why would you spray after you go to the bathroom? Why would you get shoes at the store? Why would you get your hair done? Why would you do anything? See, for me, I had to realize I'm the type of human being. I'm the type of being that loves people thinking good stuff about me. I strive for it. I want people's opinion of me to be high. And I hate when people's opinion of me is low. I don't like it. So I'm going to go ahead and work so people have a high opinion of me. I'm going to go take people's opinions of me seriously. And I'm going to look at them. I'm not going to get crazy, but I'm going to look. And if I make a meal for someone and I put it out there on the table, I want to know if they like it or not. And if I tell a joke, I want to know if people laugh or not. And if I want to buy a car, I want to know if people think it's good or not. And if I mow my grass, I want them to drive by and I want them to look at my grass and say, man, that's a nice yard. And if I do anything on this world, I self-express for other human beings. And tonight, if I say this message to you and you like it, that makes me feel good. And if everyone didn't like it, I wouldn't leave here like a prick and say, well, I don't care that they didn't like it. I will tell you that I need to adjust then. And if you had a chef and he cooked 100 meals for 100 people and nobody liked it, and then he went off and said, I don't care what people's opinion of me is, that would mean he's a prick. And that's it. And no one wants to be around a prick.
future unemployed.
Yeah, an unemployed prick. So for me, this relationship thing, learning to love is challenging. Learning to get rid of my righteousness is the ultimate challenge. And my righteousness sees no end in sight. And it's all day. Ha! Tuh! Psh. Tuh! Losing air, you know? Just offended at everything that's going on. Psh, stupid idiot. Ta! Dumb idiots. You know? And that's human
Did you
beings.
see that guy in that BMW? That
Yeah.
went by?
Yeah, well. No, I'm the guy that goes, get out of the way, dumbass. You know? What are you doing? You're doing 90 in the carpool lane? Get out of the way. Obviously, this lane's to open up your car.
You're stealing the reward.
Yeah, you're right. So, you know, the initial door of opening of humility and getting better is just this twofold thing of one, you know, I am righteous because I protect myself. And I need to get some stuff out of the way in order for me to see humanity in other people and to love them. And I got work to do. And so that lets us know that the work of relationship is a lot more in here than we're leading on. Because it seems to be that if we all said, how are our relationships going to improve? I'm pretty sure that everyone would just come in with a list of complaints about the people in their relationships. I'm pretty sure that you would have almost nothing else to say. Pretty sure that it would be a very difficult, challenging thing for us to sit here and get a piece of paper and have us all write down how we're going to improve our relationships. I think we'd be out of ideas. I literally think people would just sit here and go, I don't know what you mean. The relationship's going to get better when he quits acting like a dumbass. And I'm pretty sure that would just end the thing. Until you really start looking. Until you really see what righteousness does your own. Till you see how it puts people on the defense. Till you see how it stops you from loving. Till you see how you're showing up for other humans. And then maybe we can, you know, the walking around the yard trying to find the dog shit. You know, where's the dog shit? Where's the dog shit? Where's the dog shit? Looking under everybody else's shoe. Where is this dog shit? Then finally you realize, shit, it's on my shoe. And that's kind of us with relationships. The dog shit's on us. And we're trying to sniff it out in everybody else. And you realize, okay, shit. Let me find some humanity here. Let me get rid of this thing. Get right, get done. Get off the hook. That's the mode. And we gotta change that. See? Angie came up today.
I know, you thought of this top because of that, huh?
No, I already had it. You just
I
cemented it.
Yeah, oh God.
Somebody was behaving in a bad way, and Angie didn't get much experience to all this. I've been the source of people's problems for a lot of years. You know what I mean? I've been holding people back and you know, not treating people right for a long time. You know, they come to me from like a dumpster, homeless, and then they get with me for like a week, and all of a sudden I'm holding them back. You know, they you know, Art, you're really blocking my success. You know, and so I do that a lot. I block people's success, and I lack care or whatever people say, and so I had the thought, and then Angie came up, and somebody was. So she hasn't ever been the source of this, and recently, since she's lived in Vegas in the program house, she's become a target, which is very satisfying to me, because you know I'm always the bad, but I love, you know, and if you're a human, if you're on this planet and you have found a way to demonize Ange, you're probably pretty sick, but that's okay. She rarely does anything wrong, but all of a sudden you could find something. So these people found something, or whatever it is, we don't even know what they found, to be mad at us for. And then Angie came up with her finger up.
How could they be mad? How could they be mad?
How could they say this about this?
And I knew when you were just sitting there. I actually knew. I was like, okay, he's not. This is gonna be a lesson. I actually knew that. And
Well,
then when
she
you
was.
said it, I was like, oh.
She was ranting about the people being angry with us and how could they, and then I was uninterested, and then she got done, and I go.
Why did you call him?
I go. Why don't you go call him?
Oh. And then I was like, oh, I missed an opportunity.
Yeah.
I missed an opportunity to. You know,
See,
it's
so I
almost like
said, why do you go
rewind.
call him? Well, there's several things in that. You go call him because hopefully you're a human being that wants to be responsible for the relationship. And hopefully what that means is that you want this relationship to continue, and you're not willing to let it go, and you want to learn to love this person, and they're being very difficult. And so if she can just call them and have the righteousness go away and the humanity show up, then she will see why they were angry with us and why they did what they did. And, you know, for the most part, for us, people don't get enough attention from us, or people don't get, you know, and then they act out, and they're basically saying, I want to be validated, I want attention, and they do that. And so you realize just the truth about it. Oh, that's just a person missing us. Well, that's kind of cool. We'll call them, and let's not be mad at them. Let's just, people miss us. Good.
Let's have a
You know,
potluck.
good. You know, so yeah. But that's how it goes.
I just miss those opportunities, and then I'm like, oh shoot, I should have saw it. Like when I hear you speak like this, I go, okay, next time I'm gonna be ready. I'm not gonna let my, you know, lid.
They call it flipping the lid.
I'm not gonna flip my lid. I'm gonna actually catch it in the moment. Okay, this is the opportunity. Okay, what should I do here? But I missed it again. God dang it.
It'll come
Then
around.
it diffuses me. But yeah, I'm very quick to just be like, oh,
See, if you take on,
done with that person. You know, I don't mean to. I don't want that.
if you
Let's
take
just
on this
fire it.
idea in life, that there's this person here, and it's not on you to tell them how to get better. It would be more of your idea that if you want your relationships to be something in the realm of people that come into contact with you, their life improves. So at some point I took on this idea that if people were to come around me, that one thing I want is for their life to get better. And in some way I want improvement for them. And I want them to be able to say, hey, you know, when you go around you'll want to improve and your life will be improved. I just always wanted that, kind of like a coach, see? So that a coach, we're kind of like as people, we can take on that idea in our head, but then what we'll do is, like, it'd be like somebody saying I'm a basketball coach and I'd like people to learn to dribble better if they come around me. And then if somebody comes and it's very hard to teach them to dribble, then I would just say, that guy can't dribble. You see? Well, that's me being done as a coach and me blaming him. And then it would dawn on me that the fact that they can't dribble is why they came to me. And so now we get to the point of responsibility, and that if you take this on in your relationships, that you want people to improve, then pointing out why they're not improving is just pointing out how you're failing in the relationship. And I'm not talking about improving by making a list. I'm talking about people just simply wanting to get better because of you. Not because of your words, just because they come around, they feel like, you know, maybe getting better around you, or maybe you inspire them to be better, or whatever it is. Maybe with the way you don't be righteous. Maybe that's all it is. So maybe people come around, and then if you don't get righteous on them, they'll want to get better. Maybe. And that's basically all it is.
So in another way, you're saying you have to show up and be love.
Yeah, and no one's going to love you.
Right? You just have to show up.
I think there's a common misconception. The common misconception with addiction or with anywhere is somehow that people deserve love. That's a very arrogant thing to say, because my question to you, if you think you deserve love, is who are you loving? So our premise that all these addicts are down in Seattle because they're unloved. And that people are in addiction because they're unloved. No, see, if you're coming out of addiction, your job is to learn to love. You know, when we love, then we feel love. You know, when someone's loving you, you don't even feel it. So what is that? We don't feel when someone's loving us. We feel when we're loving someone else. You see? So the job isn't to just sit around on your fat ass and hope people start loving you. The job is to learn to get rid of what's blocking you from loving other people. So my job wasn't to do all this shit to learn to be loved by people. My job was simply one thing: learn to love other people. I didn't know how. And there it is. When you learn to love, you get better. So I got to learn to love. And to learn to love, you got to admit that you don't. You got to admit that the actions that you're currently doing in your relationships might not be that of love. They might be that of protection. And it's okay if you're protecting yourself. That's just what we do. It's what you learned from a little kid, from the first time you got hurt. And if you're not unlearning that, then you're not learning to love. You're just following suit with your unconscious mind going through the protectionism. Try to love your husband when he drops his undies on the floor. You know?
I think you said a really key word, your unconscious mind.
Yeah.
Right? So we have to be living in
You
awareness.
got to be aware. You got to be aware of what this thing's up to. See, I said, I just want to be able to go home and put my underwear on the floor and have it. I said, really, Angie, you know, lately, the amount of time that I have to wait for you to clean up after me is really getting ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? I mean, clock is ticking here. We got shit to do. You know? How long am I going to have to wait today for you to get done taking care of my shit? You know? It's true. She's really slowed down. You know? Is the laundry done yet? No? You know? That's how it is, you know?
So you don't know how to do laundry?
Huh?
You don't know how to do laundry?
Emphatically, the answer to that is no. No.
Absolutely.
No. I know in theory what it's like to do the motions of doing laundry. I also know that when I do laundry, the clothes don't get clean. No, there's stains that get not worked with. You know what I mean? You know?
Yeah, I'm gonna throw it.
Yeah. I do know how to buy a laundry thing.
Take out the garbage.
I do know how to make sure there's enough money in the bank to buy her a new laundry thing if it breaks.
The best. I got the best
Yeah.
on my wish list.
I did know how to install, I did know how to call a contractor. I knew how to call a contractor, have him come over and install a tankless water heater.
Yes.
I knew how to do that.
Yes.
Now she can take a bath for 4 hours,
It stays
you
on.
know? But there are things I don't know how to do.
I will need a full-time assistant
Yeah.
if we have this baby.
Yeah.
I will need a full-time, maybe 2.
Yeah,
No joke.
yeah.
So you know how to do laundry, you just don't ever get it clean.
Well, some would argue to know and not to do is to not know.
I've
Yeah.
never seen him do a load of laundry. But
Just
that's
being,
okay.
just being
It's fine.
single for so long, I'm like,
Your turn
how
to be
could you not
righteous.
do laundry?
Yeah, no, I just, my mind is on different things. I can't get it
Buy
to,
new
It
clothes.
works.
yeah.
You can just
I do
keep
buy.
buying new clothes.
That's,
Yeah,
you're
that
getting
was,
it.
That was the thing.
You're
Yeah.
getting my, I'm picking up what you're putting down.
He would prefer that.
In
yeah.
fact, tomorrow I already planned. I got a dentist appointment right by the Federal Way Mall. Go across to the mall. I'm getting some shoes, some shirts. She don't even have to worry about it.
That's okay.
Yeah. All right. Questions before we go? Comments? You know, I think this is the most, for me, right now, ridding the world, ridding ourselves of righteousness is, to me, it's in America, it's everywhere. I mean, if you try to turn on MSNBC or Fox or any radio station, or if you try to listen to anyone comment about our society, people are out of ideas, and their only kind of mode of operation is to point out flaws and complaints. And I think that this is trickling down into our family life and our relationships, and I think ridding ourselves of this and just understanding the mechanism of why people get right. You get right to protect yourself. You get right so you don't have to love. You get right so you don't have to do the work. And so I want to caution everyone, if you're currently right about somebody, meaning today you want to talk about somebody's wrongness in any form, just look right there. I will point out that that's where you're unhappy. Just see it. You show me where your complaint is, I will show you your unhappiness. And in order to be happy, there's only one thing we have to give up. We just have to give up being right. That's it. It's the only thing. And just look at what's hanging on and look at how desperate this is, because, you know, when we see people, when we're doing this, we can't. If I'm eating a bowl of ice cream, you know, and I love it, it's so right. And everything I love is so right and so perfect. So I really, in order to love, I have to learn to stop tearing things apart. And I hope that hits, and I hope people understand that this is just our enemy. That beyond anything else, it can be fixed. That if you're in a relationship right now and you can just take out that silent treatment, that domination, that you know, wanting to vent about somebody's bad behavior, if you can just rid yourself of that, well, then the work can start. But it will not start until you rid yourself of the righteousness. It won't start with your path. It won't start with the improvements. Nothing will happen. The humanity doesn't show up. What shows up when the righteousness shows up? Defense, justification, blame. That's all that's left. But you let that go, the person's humanity will show up, and you will be able to figure out what's really going on. Not your presupposing story, not your made up bullshit. We've got, hopefully we got Mullet on it. Well, we do have Mullet on the 11th, but now we're scheduling Reichert, so please be here to grill these guys.
We
We
should
got-
be finalizing the date for Riker tomorrow.
Riker,
That's
right
for
there.
sure thing. We're just trying to nail the date with him. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So stay tuned.
Two big governor candidates right here. 20615. My child at home. Pretty cool.
We'll have to get a porta potty probably.
Oh, porta potties brought in.
I think we need to.
We'll make Reichert use the don't.
Becoming difficult.
No, we'll make the liberals use the.
But in July and August, we're gonna light up some solutions too. We're gonna have some barbecues.
We'll have a-
and things like
Bring
that.
spotlight.
I'll have
Make
a.
sure you're on our text
We'll have two
reminder
porta
list.
potties, and above it will be a sign that say the liberal bathroom.
Make sure you're on our text reminder list or Facebook page and you're watching. Because we're gonna have some fun barbecues and things
No
like
gender
that.
bathroom.
Yeah.
Where we say show.
Oh yeah,
us all
gender
the-
neutral
Gender neutral.
and liberal neutral.
It won't be good if Reichert comes in, because I remember you.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Good night, everybody. See you Monday. Good night.
Yeah, I was thinking that.